Okay, I've calmed down a little bit since the last video, which you may or may not have seen, where I had a bit of a rant. And I'm still in a rant mode. You'll be happy to hear. Yeah, more, a bit calmer. It's been a rough day. Let's put it that way. But you know, that's the way it is in life and in business, and we'll see. We'll see if I continue to play this game, have this dance, fight this fight sometimes. But yeah, but I thought it'd be interesting because I left it a bit of like that's all I got to say. But I thought it'd be interesting to sort of like tell you a little bit about what I've been thinking about in terms of my business history, because I realize, first of all, I'm trying to look for a space where the lighting isn't awful. So if you're wondering what I'm doing, that's what I'm doing. I feel like everywhere's bad, the lighting. But anyway, and I was thinking about like when I got involved, so with mainly we opened in 2007 as China Life. And, all right, just put your camera down, man. I'm going with this. This is what I'm going with. Is that okay? Yeah, so I started China Life in 2007. And then there was the greatest ever like financial crash in a generation in 2008. So basically, as soon as I started my business, and I'm drinking elixir just to treat myself, not because it's like to calm me down, just because I want the taste and I want to mix it with chocolate, because it is amazing. Whiskey chocolate, who knew? I didn't. Anyway, so 2008 financial crash, deepest recession in like the last 100 years, right? Or since the 50s, whatever. So just struggling, like starting up a business, like just before the deepest recession, struggling, right? Then 2015 came around and was like, we'd been working for 7 years, 8 years, and things started to improve. And it was like, oh, okay, this is actually going somewhere, right? 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019. Feeling good, feeling like, 2020. We all know what happened in 2020. The world went. And then deep recession, like struggle, like, right? I should actually backtrack, because when I started it, I started working at Acumedic, which is the Chinese medical clinic, in the 90s, right? Just when that Aristolochia scandal hit, and there was all of this, like everything had to change, which I talked about in the last video, I'm not going to repeat. So it was this big thing that basically industry sort of like catastrophe. And then sort of came through that, started the tea thing, and then we had the 2008, then the COVID thing happened. And we're still sort of in the like, and Brexit, just throw that, COVID, Brexit, clang, clang, do a double. And we're still sort of like, is the UK, can we, you know? And a new government comes in, bam, 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 increase like national insurance contributions, tax up, like, and then the customs like, now you need to pay for all of your testing and you know, for your teas, otherwise we're not going to let your teas in. I think, Matt, is it me? Am I just moaning? And this is the life of this is the way it is ever since ever, where people trying to make their way in the world. But it kind of feels like it's been tough, no? Am I wrong? Oh my God. That cocoa and chocolate and cream, you wouldn't think it would work that well with a whiskey, but this whiskey's got this sort of brandy quality to it because it's been barrel aged in Burgundy. You get this Scottish alcohol, aged in France, in Burgundy barrels. And it is so beautiful. It's not fruity. What is it? It's like, yeah, it has a brandy kind of quality to it. The grain is less present. It feels more like it's a fruit alcohol somehow, but not excessively fruity, still creamy and spiced and warm and juicy. And you combine that with this chocolate, and the two just are such a perfect marriage. I love it. I forgot what I was talking about, and that's the beauty of taste. Right, I forgot. What was I talking about? Was it interesting? Anyway, the cycles. But it just feels like I keep waiting for like a cycle of just some level of stability, stable growth, right? Because even in like 2015, 16, it was a pretty wild time economically. It wasn't like, good times. It was rocky roads. Anyway, how do you feel about that? Entrepreneurs, business people, I'm talking to you. And it's weird because I never thought of myself as a business person, ever. But I feel like this like deep sense of like the spirit of wanting to create, and the spirit wanting to see something blossom that brings in money and helps to like create like communities, and those communities, like if they're your staff community, then you're like feeding, like you're creating like wealth for everybody, and it's a beautiful thing. And I think that I have a frustration that a lot of people just point fingers at businesses. They kind of go, oh, but like the government goes, well, businesses can pay for it, as if businesses are some sort of like weird, like amorphous, non-human entity. Like, oh, the business can pay for it, and if the business isn't, well, the business is wrong. Like, or the business should foot the bill. It's like the business is people. I don't think that people get that. It's like there's this feeling of like, oh, but the people are whatever. There's an issue with the people. Well, let's blame the businesses. The businesses are people. And like, it feels like that's not understood enough. And so I never felt that I was a businessman, but I feel like I want to support like entrepreneurs out there. Like, come on. Human creativity is beautiful. The creation of wealth is beautiful. It's not dirty. It's what brings people to light. Now, the chasing of wealth, the taking your eye off the ball and thinking that that is the true prize and not enlightenment, clearly is a problem. But don't make the assumption that all business people are like that. Or at least encourage them to not be like that. That's the power of the consumer there. And you think about it like 2008, the crash, again, just greed, right? It was just greed, just like fantasy valuing in greed. But the bankers didn't really suffer that much, right? And then COVID, I'm not going to get into it. It's still a hornet's nest. Just burn yourself. You touch COVID, you burn yourself. But let's just call it for what it definitely was, a moment of absolute human madness in some level. However you want to approach it, the world went mad for a bit. Corporates just jumped on it. And so it's like, if you want to, as a consumer, want to like if you don't, it's like that thing, if you stop pointing fingers at businesses, but actually, like, I don't know, applaud them and say, do better. It's like how you should treat your kid, right? You know? It's like, you can point your fingers, but aren't you just going to turn them more disobedient, or disobedience is the wrong word, but like more like, either you're going to sort of be like beaten down, or you're going to have to just overreact, go the other way. It's like, it's about applauding people, right? I kind of talked about it in a previous video. It's like expecting the best of someone. So expect the best of the businesses that you deal with, for sure. Demand the best. Demand what you feel you want to demand. That might be, you know, from a value point of view, from an ethical point of view, from a sort of consumer protection point of view. Like, argue your case, for sure. Shape businesses, they're people. And the beautiful thing about a really free market economy is that if you get demanding consumers, and the consumers drive you to be better, then you win the competition. Then it's an equalizer. It's a system of understanding what we value, and giving companies that value. It's not a system whereby that is controlled by another entity, government or whatever it is, that have their own interests and are being lobbied by, people with a lot of clout and money. And why did I get political again? I don't know. I didn't mean to. I thought I would just keep this about the business, but I can't help myself. You see, I just can't help myself. Once I get on my little horse, I just can't help myself. I will try to stop and just enjoy my whiskey, but I'm starting to sound a bit like an anarchist. No bad thing, but the end result is that I've got a lot of tea in that cupboard, and if it just keeps going, like, where it just becomes like me having to always just be plugging holes and trying to overcome obstacles that are just randomly put in my way, either randomly or not randomly put in my way, as opposed to the joy of just finding great tea, tasting it, trying to contribute to tea culture. If half my time is spent doing the other stuff and not that, then it's like, I've got enough tea. And I'll pass the baton on. Go. Fight the good fight, people.